What does it take for one man to rise from being a beloved idol to becoming a living, breathing cultural phenomenon that transcends borders, genres, and even generations? Could it be his voice that carries both velvet warmth and raw power? His artistry that defies categorization? Or is it the enigmatic charisma that makes the world pause and lean closer whenever his name is spoken? Before you dive into this story, pause for a moment and ask yourself this. When was the last time you witnessed an artist who didn't just perform but reshaped the very idea of fame, artistry, and cultural relevance? If your answer is still uncertain, then stay with us until the end, because what you are about to read will change the way you see the cultural landscape of 2025. And if you feel the heartbeat of this journey echoing inside you, don't just read, engage. Leave your thoughts, your love, and your voice in the comments. Like this story if it moves you, and subscribe to continue walking the path of history being written before our eyes. The year 2025 is not merely another chapter in the timeline of global pop culture. It has become the canvas on which kimtaehyung, known to the world as V of BTS, paints his masterpiece. From Seoul to Snow Paulo, from Paris runways to New York art galleries, his influence has seeped into places where once only politicians, philosophers, or revolutionaries held sway. Yet this revolution is not carried on banners or shouted in speeches. It is sung in velvet tones, expressed through fearless fashion, whispered through quiet acts of kindness, and ignited by the gaze of millions who see in him not just an entertainer, but a mirror reflecting the very essence of the human experience. At the core of Taehyung's rise as a cultural phenomenon lies the mystery of duality. He is both global superstar and humble artist, both fashion icon and gentle soul, both rebel against conformity and protector of timeless values. This duality is not a facade but a lived reality that has drawn people into his orbit. In 2025, when the world seems to crave authenticity more than spectacle, Kim Taehyung delivers both, weaving them into a narrative so compelling that even those unfamiliar with his music find themselves caught in his story. He has not simply survived the turbulent tides of the music industry. He has mastered them, using each wave to propel himself into new realms of artistry. What is most surprising is not that he continues to dominate charts or fill stadiums. Those are expected milestones for someone of his caliber, but that his very presence has become a cultural touchstone. Universities host symposiums on the Taehyung effect, examining how his aesthetic choices ripple into fashion trends, how his music redefines genre boundaries, how his persona sparks conversations about masculinity, vulnerability, and modern stardom. Social scientists study the loyalty and emotional intensity of his fan base, known not just for their passion, but for their ability to mobilize cultural conversations. In every corner of the globe, murals of his face rise on city walls. His voice is played in intimate cafes. His fashion choices inspire runways, and his interviews spark debates about identity and art in the 21st century. To trace this phenomenon back is to walk through a story that feels both fairy tale and revolution. The boy from Daegu, who once dreamed quietly of expressing his inner world, has grown into an artist whose every move is watched, like a comet streaking across the night sky. But unlike a comet that disappears, Taehyung's glow only intensifies. In 2025, his solo endeavors are not just extensions of BTS's global legacy, they are testaments to his ability to stand alone as an architect of culture. Each performance feels less like a concert and more like a cultural event, an intersection where fashion, music, art, and emotion collide. Consider, for example, the way his fashion sense has evolved into a language of its own. Wearing a simple beret can ignite global demand. Stepping onto a red carpet in bold, avant-garde silhouettes can reset industry standards overnight. Yet fashion, for Taehyung, is not vanity but expression. In his choice of garments, there is storytelling, a blending of nostalgia with modernity, softness with edge, east with west. He wears not to impress but to communicate. And in doing so, he becomes both muse and creator, a bridge between cultures and generations. Fashion houses now seek his input, not merely as a model, but as a collaborator, recognizing that his aesthetic decisions can redefine global trends. Equally transformative is his music. In 2025, his songs are not just melodies carried on the airwaves, they are cultural scripts. Each release becomes a moment of collective experience, where fans and critics alike dissect not only the sound, but the message. His voice, deep yet tender, has an uncanny ability to reach into the soul, evoking emotions that words alone cannot capture. The lyrics he chooses, whether written by his hand or selected with care, often speak of longing, resilience, love, and the unspoken spaces between words. His artistry reminds the world that music is not entertainment alone, but an emotional journey, a shared experience that bridges cultures, languages, and lives. But what perhaps makes him a phenomenon, in the truest sense, is his ability to remain human in the midst of colossal fame. In a time when celebrity often feels manufactured and distant, Taehyung's vulnerability shines as a strength. He speaks with honesty about fears and hopes, about struggles and dreams, and in doing so, he makes millions feel less alone. His interactions with fans are not mere transactions of admiration. They are dialogues. The tenderness in his words, the way he pauses to acknowledge even the smallest gestures, creates a bond that transforms fandom into family. In 2025, where loneliness and digital disconnect plague society, his authenticity feels revolutionary. The ripple effect of Taehyung's cultural impact also reaches into broader spheres. Economists analyze the Taehyung economy, pointing to the surge in industries tied to his influence. From fashion and music to tourism and technology, cities report spikes in tourism tied to his appearances, with fans traveling across continents just to breathe the same air for a fleeting moment. Governments quietly acknowledge his soft power, understanding that his image promotes Korea on the global stage as effectively as any official campaign. The global press, once skeptical of K-pop's staying power, now heralds Taehyung as a case study in cultural longevity. And yet, perhaps the most striking aspect of his phenomenon is the emotional revolution he inspires. He has redefined what it means to be a man in modern culture, unafraid to be tender, unapologetic in his artistry, bold in his vulnerability. In his gaze, fans see permission to feel deeply. In his performances, they see courage to embrace both light and shadow. This emotional resonance makes his journey not just one of celebrity, but of cultural transformation. He has become a beacon for a generation grappling with identity, loneliness, and the desire for connection. So, as we stand in 2025 and witness Kim Taehyung's journey unfolding, the question shifts from how did he get here to where will he go next? Will he redefine acting with roles that challenge cinema itself? Will he spearhead new forms of artistic collaboration that merge technology with emotion? Or will he retreat into quieter spaces, reshaping culture from the shadows as much as the spotlight? What is certain is that his story is far from over, and each step forward will ripple across the world like waves upon an endless shore. For those reading now, perhaps the most important realization is this: you are not just a spectator to Kim Taehyung's journey, you are part of it. Each time you listen, share, discuss, or feel his art, you contribute to the living phenomenon that he has become. This is not just his story, it is ours. And if you felt the pulse of this revolution in your heart while reading, don't let it fade. Comment your thoughts, your dreams, and your love below. Like this story if it made you feel seen. Subscribe to keep walking alongside this unfolding history. Because someday, when people look back on 2025 and ask how Kim Taehyung became a cultural phenomenon, it won't just be about the man himself, it will be about all of us who felt his impact and carried it forward into the world.